that picture was taken on an actual hospital bed.
Oh, Agent Orange, young, simple, and naive Agent Orange.
Because that bed that she's on will only be found in a hospital bed setting because that rail has a remote control.
Yeah, but
home beds have a pennant.
But if I was to take a picture of me lying on my couch right now, within 10 minutes, I could replicate that picture and post it on my social media and be like, just got hit by a bus 110 miles an hour. It's okay because I'm absolutely nails. Nay bother. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing. So I get what you're saying because you think she went to hospital. She couldn't have went to hospital, bro, because she was never in a car accident to be taken to hospital. The accident didn't have two people in it. It had a person driving and no passenger. So we can eliminate the original narrative and the continued confirmation of narrative from her brother that there was indeed an accident and she didn't drive herself, but the correction to the story was that she was indeed driven by the person who was driving the car, the 70-year-old who was seen by the bus driver. There was no passenger. There was no accident. She was never in hospital. Make it make sense.
Ron, I have a question.
Hang on, Agent Orange. Hang on, Agent Orange.
That type of bed, okay.
One
that
second.
type of bed will only get delivered to a facility or a hospital.
Yeah,
bed.
it's a green screen, mate. You put a green screen behind her and then slap the bed in. Hang on a second, Lady D. Okay, come back. Respond, sorry.
What was her relationship with her husband? Because I never once got that she wanted the cash grab. That was not my thing. I was thinking there's something with the husband. Is the husband, was she getting along with him? Did she have a good relationship with him? Was he in on it?
Allegedly, he was a bit slappy, like to get a bit slappy, but also allegedly it couldn't see her kid. There's a lot to this. Do you know what, Lady D? That's our homework for this week, is the personal life, the marriage, all of that. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, hang on a second. So I just want to say to everyone, all of this is unconfirmed. I'm not saying Sam's a liar, just for legal reasons and to protect Sam as well, obviously.
Exactly.
That's unconfirmed. But I have read and heard horrible things. Allegedly, yes, there we go. Ron, you definitely thought of the possible. Yep, we went over that too. And 100% you could stage this picture. And, you know, Agent Orange, I'm going to send you some photographs and I'm going to blow your mind with what people can do in Photoshop.
Exactly.
Because I'll be honest, and I just want to, and this is just for you, Agent Orange. I agree with you about the bed and all of that kind of stuff. What are you actually seeing here? You're seeing a pillow and a sheet and a small piece of plastic, right?
Right.
Now, arguably, I could 3D print that. I couldn't 3D print the whole bed, but that little tiny out of focus piece that we can see, hell yeah, I could. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I could, in fact, I could run into a hospital steaming, probably rip a bit of that off and probably make it out of there. Probably not. But you see what I'm saying? So I get what you mean. If we're looking at a whole bed, I would agree with you. But this is such a convenient image when it comes to, so if I was making a movie, a budget found footage movie, which I've been wanting to do for years, one of the things that I learned was getting the maximum real estate out of every frame of a shot when it comes to budget filmmaking. And if I wanted to recreate an image like this, obviously I could Photoshop it, but at the same time, it's an out of focus piece of plastic that, for all we know, is they have printed off a fuzzy picture and placed. I mean, it can be so many different ways that this could have been faked. So I'm not saying you're wrong, bro. I know what I can do with digital media, and that's before I even bring AI into it.
But then again, that picture looks like somebody took it that was not allowed to take that picture.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, she looks like she's had stuff done to her by somebody that wasn't allowed to do that stuff to her. So the whole thing's fishy. Now here's another one for you, Ron. Do you think that the one of her laying down could be that her hair or something like that in a ponytail? Yep, I would 100% put my money on the possibility of tiny bit of scrunchy. Right, and there's the ponytail, and there's the tiny bit of scrunchy. I would happily split my bet on that if we were at the casino table. I'd 100%. Yeah, could be okay. Could also be like you know, the handkerchief of the last person that the cabal took out, folded up neatly behind her, that, you know, sends a message to the person that mixed the dye for the handkerchief, locating the person. You see what I'm saying? It's not. It's a scrunchie. But there's like
and again, the jewelry piece, it seems like she got there and it was too late to even perform a CAT scan because she still has her jewelry on.
That was another thing that someone pointed out. All of this jewelry would be off real early. And I tell you another thing. Not only that, every single, you want to do that, Lady D, remember what you said about photography, the cabal, putting everything out there, right? She is wearing the same set of earrings in every single image that was officially released since the 30th of March. Every picture, same set of earrings. When you Google her name, she has a variety of earrings on in every single Google image. Some images, she doesn't have any earrings. So she has not got a consistent track record of wearing one set of earrings for prolonged periods of time or favoring one style or set over another. When you just Google her name now and you'll see that it's an array of different ear fashion choice, shall we say. The pearl has meaning too. I don't want to know Star Winters, okay? I can't take any more tonight. I can't take any more. I just can't.
I agree, though. It does have meaning and symbology. And the last three, that's very interesting. So the last three. Okay, so what were the last three photos with the pearl earrings? This one we're seeing now. What were the other two?
So we had, one moment, please.
Sorry. I know what it's like to try to do everything when you're hosting. Trust me.
Sorry. Right. So we go to news articles. And then we have, okay, so the first one was when she was pulling up outside. Hang on a second. Let me, Virginia, seen after hospital. Okay. So I went over this in yesterday's video and I did show the images. I can't find they exist, trust me, right? So the first image obviously is this image with those earrings. Then there's the image of her picking up the farm feed, which were the two images that were released of her in the car with the man in the beard, same earrings. Then apparently her brother posted a post on social media a couple of days before her unaliving, same earrings on, different facial structure, different face, different weight, everything. It's odd.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm getting something. I'm getting a download on air.
Right.
I think that it has something to do with now Beverly said that there's different little codes that they can give her, right? That will part, and that sometimes the kill switch is not immediate. What if those earrings were kind of like I had my train of thought. What if those earrings were meaning that they were part of a succession, meaning all those photographs were taken in succession in that one area where at one time when they were doing the MK Ultra on her, you know what I mean?
Wait. No, wait. What you're saying is once she's been given the kill switch, part of her kill switch is to put on those earrings, and all the photos of her that are made public and are in the public since the kill switch was activated would represent her activation through her wearing of the earrings.
Very good, Ron, for someone who has ADHD.
Yeah, Ron's good. Ron's good sometimes. So, yeah.
How does that resonate with you? What do you think?
None of it resonates with me. Honestly, all I want to do is go outside and bury my head in the ground where it's nice and cool and cold, and no sounds can get to me, and no one can tell me the meaning of a pearl, and no one can hit me with more weird numerology that keeps me up at night. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally get it.
Say that again, brother.
She would have been offered, and one more thing on her health. She would have been offered a better health plan than the average person because of her economic status. She would have been given more options to even try to actually.
Well, it's Australia, mate. It's free.
Right, but since she has money, she could have been
okay. Yeah, that's true.
Different type of treatment.
Yeah, that is true. Right, hang on a second. Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. I just suddenly panicked that I was meant to end this and Shaun was doing something, but he's not. It's a different day. I'm losing my mind. Yeah, there's a multitude of stuff. I tell you what, though, we need to have a chat with that woman who was the driving that car. She knows something, okay? Because that bus driver never hit her on purpose. She is more likely to have caused that accident because she went on to then lie about her being in the car. Why would she be lying about her in the car? We have
Because
to
they were
start
paid off.
Well, yeah, exactly. Who lives in Australia? I'm not saying we need to go asking these people questions, but if there is anyone in Australia who happens to live in wherever this lady lives and maybe knows of this farm and knows these people and is like, hey, they're a bit sketchy, let us know, because I've got some questions. Okay.
Yeah. I've got some questions about the husband too.
How are your
sorry
doorbell camera? How are your doorbell camera privacy laws?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Australia. What is your public access for what the hell do we call it over here? I can't remember what we call it over here, but data protection and being able to ask for stuff as a member of the public. Now, whatever intelligent way that is actually said, make that sound in your head and pretend I didn't sound like a 4-year-old who's just like spent one day in his dad's office and is trying to regurgitate stuff. Okay. Maybe she's about to be discharged. She was put on the jewelry. She looks like she's about to be discharged. So whoa, Tracy, look. There's no way. I'm going to put the lesser traumatic of the two images up. There's no way that this woman is about to be discharged and she's taken this photo of herself. She's not even looking into the camera, right? That's the problem. If she was looking into the camera, I'd be with you on that for sure. But I just can't get behind it. I cannot get behind it because I don't think that's in a living person. That's my humble opinion.
I agree, Ron.
I'm really disappointed in myself for sitting and being like, oh, I bet she turns up unalived in a couple of weeks. Bam, she does. Like, I'm not saying I could have done anything, but it sucks being right. You know?
Yeah. Right. And who's going to let them take a picture of them if they're conscious?
I don't know. I almost feel like, you know, in the movie, like, you ever played the game Assassin's Creed? When you assassinate the guy in Assassin's Creed, you've got to take a little sample of his blood back to the church that you get your assassin missions from to prove that you've assassinated them. Maybe in this economic climate, they have to now start posting evidence of their Illuminati jobs because there's just not the budget for them to fly back over and show them, you know?
Exactly. Yep. A lot of them are going down now. Yep.
Hang on a second. We've got some info here. Ryan Dawson believes it's a genuine suicide. Now, let's for a second go down that it was a genuine suicide. I 100% could get behind it was a genuine suicide and a shambles of an attempted ruse by a woman who was told to do this or her children are next. 100%. Okay. Do I think that a woman who was brave enough to take on Epstein could be driven out of fear of these people to do this to herself? No. Could I see an ill mother get so low without her children that she has dark thoughts? Yes. But
or it could be accidental.
So for me, well, yeah, true. You know, you never know. You never know. You never know wherever, you know, maybe the housekeeper and her housekeeper's friends all left her alone in the house by herself and went out for freaking tapas and came back and they were just like, oh no, something terrible's happened. You know, why not just try that old chestnut again? So for me, if it was a genuine of herself unaliving, it was not through her own choice. If she did it to herself, she was forced to do it to herself. That's my humble opinion, because make the car crash and the eyewitness testimony and the lying staff member make sense to a narrative where this was all her happy idea.
It doesn't make sense, Ron. You're right. Doesn't. Can't make it make sense.
Hang on a second. Ryan also said, talking about this being the power scaring the life. Listen, I'm not being funny, but I'm pretty sure there's a pretty serious court case that has half of Hollywood involved in it coming up next month, What better way of sending a signal to anyone that thought they might pipe up against any of the hierarchies of the world now? Don't be a missing person who thinks they're a missing person and has grown up to realize it. And don't be a survivor of elite abuse, because you know what will happen? Terrible, terrible, terrible things. A friend of mine is having a state-funded holiday in a concrete box right now because she wants some answers. Also,
You're right.
That's a bloody good point, Lisa. Thank you very much for reminding me I have a brain. Let me just pull this up. I almost got away with that. Okay, almost got away with that. Let me just. I can't remember where they are, but I just got a message from Uber. It's not a date, bro. We're just pals. Okay. So somebody had sent me this, but she posted in 2019 a post that was covered on various news outlets. In fact, I can Google it. I'm not that old that I forget the internet exists when I'm sat in front of it, right? Okay, and it's a Twitter post. Okay, so there was a post that was made by Virginia. I'm making it publicly known that in no way, shape, or form am I suicidal. I've made this known to my therapist and GP. If something happens to me for the sake of my family, do not let things go away. Help me to protect them. Too many evil people in the world. That was in 2019. This isn't a false. This is a legit post that she made on her Twitter. So what, did she just change her mind? Like, she seems like the sort of lady that if she changed her mind, she'd probably write it down somewhere to let people to ignore that tweet. Do you know what I mean? She seems like the sort of lady that would be a little bit aware of a conspiracy theory about her death if she didn't make an hour-long documentary explaining the reasons behind why she's doing what she's doing, breaking it down with emotional piano music and montages of photographs and all this crap for us to actually be like, okay, all right, Virginia, I'm sorry that we're spreading this false news. We'll let you rest in peace. Because until then, they can all suck their mums. I'm buying nothing. Nothing. Apart from some freaking Advil. That's what I'm buying.
I believe that this is the last thing the ones that actually committed these acts to her, this is the last thing that they wanted to happen to her.
Say that again, Agent Orange. Who was last person?
The people that she accused. I believe that this is the last thing that they wanted to happen to her. They didn't want the extra attention again.
Hell yeah. But again, our ex could have said no way to her getting her kids back. I mean, sure, but sure. But most mothers would probably sit and wait for 10 years for their kids to be old enough. Like, I'm not being funny. Like, I get what you're saying, though. Oh, she's been told her. I mean, sure, but there would have to be, you'd have to give me 8 or 9 other factors that would erode that foundation of her being a mother. So, self-medicating, alcohol, whatever, but I just don't think so. And I'm not saying it's impossible. You hear horrible, sad stories all the time. Okay. But I mean, what was this woman abused from the age of 12? I think there's multiple times in this woman's life where she's looked at herself and went, I can't carry on, and has picked herself up through absolute atrocities and powered through it all. And you're telling me now at the end of the road when she's got justice and sure, our kids have been taken away. She's maybe had some bad moments. We're all expected to believe that suddenly it all just got too much. No, I could 100% believe that she got a phone call one day saying, hey, little Billy and little Jimmy, even your ex-husband, all of them, they'll be on the next bus. Do you see what I mean?
Why now? You know what I mean? She's been through so much. Why now?
Right. No, but dude, she's going to be aware of what we're all going to think. Do you see what I mean?
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Unless Virginia, the self-unaliving, everything's fine, guys, I'm in a better place, the movie comes out, like, none of us are ever going to believe this. The bus, mate, yes. So all of this stems from her putting a post on social media saying that she was hit by a bus at 110 kilometers an hour. And I'll put it up on the screen for you now. This was on the 30th of March. This is what started the whole ball rolling on what the hell's going on with Virginia. And I'm sorry, but nonsense. It's nonsense. I'm not going to let go of this. I just want to point out, anybody who thinks I'm ranting about anything other than this for the rest of the week, you like, I don't even have anything to say yet. I'm still flabbergasted. I sat for almost 2 hours with no point, just staring into things we already know, trying to make them make sense. But this week's homework, this week's homework is I am going to Google search the crap out of that farm. I'm going to do some deep diving into her husband and all of that stuff, and I want to track that. I want to find the bus driver and the woman that works on the farm. Okay.
Yes. Find out how many people she employed.
Yeah. Because there's answers. There's answers here. There's answers staring at us. We're too all over the place to see what we should be seeing.